Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hello, I'm Joel Shelley.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Hell yeah. For those of you that don't know, he is on a local radio show that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but super glad to have somebody else who kind of does the talking side of things.
Yeah, for sure. Just filling up an hour of time once a week.
Hell yeah.
So used to talking for sure.
Hell yeah. Why don't you go and tell us a little bit about, like where you're from, what you do, give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Gotcha. I grew up in Tigard, so local. Went to Oregon State, came back home for a bit, moved out to Portland. Play a lot of acoustic music. It started with doing open mics. The open mics, they started a little bit later. I've only been doing open mics for like maybe a year and a half or something.
Okay.
But fell in love with it right away. And then once I performed once, I did like once a week. I performed once a week, just getting comfortable playing live music. So playing live has always been an important thing for the past year and a half. Just trying to imitate the artists I like. And then through doing the open mics, I heard about Shady Pines Radio that started their community radio station. And I have an hour slot, 1 to 2 every Thursday, locals only with Joel Shelley.
Hell yeah.
Check it on the Shady Pines Radio app. I met those guys just through the music scene, and I play local music on it. It's usually from the shows I go to that week, and just want to support the Portland music community. So yeah, I'm doing that show. It's been fun. I have 24 episodes. So we're getting it going.
Hell yeah.
It's fun.
Do you ever do like this is where Joel's going to be? Like let people know ahead of time where you're going to go to try and experience the music for next week?
Yeah, so they do the Johnny Franco in the Park. He's this big artist in Portland. And they do it for free every Thursday. So it's the day of my show. And they do it in the park. And I'm like, all right, guys, come check me at Laurelhurst Park. Like I'll be sitting on a blanket. And usually I'll kind of know like what artists are going to be playing too. So I'll advertise that. But yeah, Johnny Franco in the Park on Thursdays. I'll advertise that. Usually there's music Sundays at Ron Tom's. Mm-hmm. So usually I'll say if I'm going to make it to
Ron Tom's.
Yeah, I'm going to say if I'm going to make it to Ron Tom's or not. It's free. You go to those shows and it's usually good artists and stuff. So yeah, the Ron Tom shows are a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I've even been like, if I have the rest of the day off, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to go to the skate park. I'll be like, all right, meet me at Ed Benedict, and we'll get a sesh going.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I guess kind of, maybe I'll tell people where I'm at.
Rad. Yeah. Well, we'll definitely dive into that a little bit more, but let's stick with the foundation ones for now.
That sounds good.
What got you into music initially?
I would think maybe just wanting to play the songs that I was listening to. Like, do we want to go like way far back?
Yeah,
like kind of early music memories I have.
Yeah.
The first time for some reason, I remember watching like the WWF wrestling and then their like intro songs. That's kind of what really spoke to me, like wanting to like seek out songs. For some reason, I'd be like, oh, I like this person's intro song. Like that's when I wanted to go seek it out. So that's kind of early memories of doing that. I think I always like to say it, but the first Tony Hawk video game, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, the soundtrack's just bomb.
Oh, that soundtrack's iconic.
Yeah, every single soundtrack is good. And I knew every word to every song and the whole first track.
Same with the first Need for Speed Underground.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
There we go. So I really do think, and it always had a bunch of different genres too, the Tony Hawk soundtracks. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just loved all the songs, and they were just always stuck in my head. So
I will always have that. Here I am.
I'm a Superman.
Yep, just forever.
Yeah, it's probably the reason why I liked ska a little early on.
Yeah.
My sister was into this Christian ska band, 5 Iron Frenzy.
Yo, 5 Iron Frenzy and Roper. Big fan.
Was Roper, is he the lead singer?
Yeah, he's the main guy. He went off and did his own thing afterwards, and it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But 5 Iron Frenzy,
they're really good, huh?
Y'all, if you ever want to be on the show, if you're still doing things as a band, even if you're not, let's do it.
That's funny. They're really good, and I got all my friends into it too. It's all from my sister. She's like,
that track, A New Hope, was one of the like earliest things I learned to play on bass.
oh really?
And it's such a cool bass line.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
they're really good. I think my sister even got to see them, like maybe even twice.
Oh man, I bet that was
I never
wild.
did. I know they're from like Denver or something.
I can see that. They sound
I'm not
like
quite
Denver.
Sure, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Five Iron Frenzy. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that influences you for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I can think of anything else specifically. I just remember whatever, just hearing rock and roll and just being like, dude, like, I need to do that. There's no other option. Like, I need to imitate that or whatever they're doing. Like, I need to do that. So that's kind of where that came from, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, this next question is one that we ask early. We ask it often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
All right. So I think I knew this question was coming, and I thought back. So at Fred Meyer's, they used to have like gift cards that were in like the shape of a blank CD. And my mom would get them, and you'd go buy the CDs at the Fred Meyer's, whatever it was called, the electronics department. And so we'd get those kind of for Christmas. And I think the first one I used it for was the Aqua CD with the Barbie girl on it.
Yep.
I don't even know what the album's called, but it's because my older sister had it. You guys, you get a lot from your older siblings.
That's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, I bought the Aqua soundtrack. It's not that exciting, but there's some bangers on there.
Yeah. I mean, it was, it was popular at the time.
Yeah, I can't remember how old I was, but I think that's it. But I always remember, I don't know if you're going to ask this too, but the first song I ever downloaded,
No, but I'm going to start incorporating that because a lot of time is the answer.
Yeah. So I had, and I ask this question to people sometimes because it's kind of fun. So I had obviously older sister, and she had the Napster. She had Napster, and the first song I ever downloaded off that on my own was Three Doors Down, Kryptonite. If I Go Crazy, you still call me Superman. Yeah, and I remember that specifically. And the second one was DMX Party Up. So that was around my 4th grade or 5th grade. A little different, but I'm pretty sure those are the first two songs on my mom's like desktop computer with the dial-up AOL internet.
I just love the idea of her going on the computer later and being like, DMX, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I remember having that song and like other kind of hip, songs like that during that time on a burned CD and listening to it in 5th grade. And like my like waiting for class to start and my teacher coming by and being like, so what are you listening to? And I'm like, oh God, like,
oh no.
It wasn't that bad, but I mean, DMX, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah. And then tell us about the first show that you ever went to that like was one that you like wanted to go to.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it must have been like Green Day.
Okay.
With my friend's family, he had an extra ticket, and I was like, I love Green Day.
Perfect, yeah.
It was right during that time. It was like Sum 41, Green Day, and Blink-182 were like the best bands in the world to any middle schooler.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it was Newfound Glory too, and Sugar Cult. They had that song Bouncing Off the Walls again, and I think they were kind of just getting popular then. So it was Sugar Cult and Green Day, and it was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
7th or 8th grade. So I remember that, and I think that's kind of it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, solid first show.
Yeah, for sure.
Oof.
And I remember and I listened to a previous episode, and that guy IQ, his first show was
IQ.
His first show was one that I was at. It was Modest Yahoo and 311. He was talking about how his dad was like a blues guy, and it was at Edgefield. And it was funny listening to it. I was like, oh yeah, I was there. Shout out.
Damn, there you go.
Shout out Chuck. Yeah, we went and went to Edgefield. I forget how old we were. It might have been like early high school, but yeah, I remember that.
Well, either way, that's the first time anybody's called out a connection to a past.
There you go.
First show with someone else. There you go.
Yeah, it's funny how small like the community starts to be or something. You think Portland's all big, but when you're out there and talking to people, especially people your age, like realize you're at some of the same stuff.
Yeah. I said it on a different episode how like a surprising majority of people's answers for like the main like artist they got into was Eminem.
Yeah.
Like that's everybody's early artist for some reason, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and dive into questions about you as the artist. And we're going to try and focus these more on the locals only parts.
Gotcha.
just because I think we'll get you and the band on as an episode separately.
Yeah, the Skrimps. What up, Skrimps?
Hell yeah, shout out to the Skrimps. But we'll still dive into some of you as a musician as well.
Sounds good.
Usually the first question we ask is, how did you pick your name? So obviously, Joel Shelley, that part of your name is already figured out. How did you pick Locals Only? Even though I could take a stab in the dark at this one too.
And if you look at the show logo, there's a skateboard bull in the background. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely the skateboard vibe. Initially, when I was bringing up the show to Brian, shout out Callie, and then shout out Sarah. She does a lot of work too, and the Shady Pines Radio fam.
Oh yeah.
When I was bringing up show ideas, I actually said I wanted to call it like Skate Hour, and I was gonna play songs from skate videos. Okay. Those are also very important in my music taste or something. There's hip hop. There's everything. So yeah, a lot of music and skate videos, and you like get attached to certain like skate parts and stuff, so you just remember the song too. So I was gonna do that, and I would just play songs from skate videos, and I think it was gonna be kind of fun. I could like talk about how old I was when the video came out and how many times I'd listened to that song, or like the skater, or how it made me feel. But I just didn't. It wouldn't probably go that far as I wanted it to go.
I don't know, because you could have done segments that were like entirely based off of like, these were from like skate videos of this particular year.
I know,
you could do like, these are ones that were by like the same brand, or like these are ones from skate videos that were from shoe companies. These ones for ones that were like for that. Like I think there's more to that.
I know there is a lot, and someone does it. Like, I think this channel, like Jankum or something, they're like the top 10 saddest songs in skate videos, like doing fun, like people who skated to sad songs, stuff like that. But we went with the local music, and I think it's a lot of fun that way.
Well, if you need a Tuesday hour, you've got one.
There we go. The skate hour with Joel Shelley.
Yep.
But yeah, just bouncing around ideas with Brian, and it was just the local music because they want to push the Portland local music scene. And I'm trying to think. I'd started going to local shows on my own, so that's kind of what I wanted to showcase, just the local bands that I saw. Because the first show I kind of went to on my own, like a little post-COVID, just, a $10 show. It was from my friend's Instagram, and he advertised it. And I just went on my own. With that stuff, you don't know if you don't want to invite people. You don't know if it's like a bunch of dudes standing around with their hands in their pockets, or you don't want to like hype it up. You're like, come to the show with me. So I went on my own to check it out. And watching these bands up there perform, like peers, I was like, wow, this is kind of the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, these kids killing it. Shout out Rain Cole and Nick Normal and Nothings. It was that show at Bunk Sandwiches.
Hell yeah!
And I have the date written down. But since then on, they had songs on Spotify, and I was like, oh, I can just broadcast these songs and talk about the show that I went to. I'll be like, I even said, I was like, oh yeah, I had a couple whiskey cokes, got all comfortable, like when I was like talking about the show that I went to that week.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to showcase, I don't know, my friends too, or hopefully friends soon enough, all these bands around town. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I want to touch on something you said before, because this is an interesting thought process. You were like, I didn't want to tell anybody, like, come with me to this, or like hype it up or anything, because I didn't know. I am the exact opposite.
Yeah.
If I'm going to something for the first time and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be hype or not, I want to bring somebody with me, because then at least I know I like got to spend time with a homie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like for me, it's like the other way around. I'm like, unless I know it's going to be cool, I like want somebody to go.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm like, all right, Joel like invited me to a shitty show, like I'm never gonna go again. Yeah. That's the last time I go somewhere with that guy again.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't invite somebody new.
Yeah,
unless it was like a preface.
A friend you trust.
Yeah, unless you like prefaced with that new person, you're like, hey, this is the thing, and they're like, oh, I love this particular element of this thing, and you're like, all right, all right, you win.
Yeah.
So then, what got you into doing Locals Live? What kind of started it as like the main thing? Is it your main thing then? Because the band is pretty prominent as well.
Yeah, I think the music started first. The playing the open mic started first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to run into that now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to try and keep more of the music focus for when we get you with the band. But like, what kind of like, what initially like made you want to do it as like a recurring thing?
Just because I knew the Shady Pines people from the open mic that they threw, and I followed them, and I saw this thing get created, and it's free, and every DJ gets a 1 hour slot, and I was like, it's like, hell yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do too. Like if everyone's doing it and it's music, and I'm down for it. And so it took like a couple months in getting it going, but eventually he gave me my time slot 1 to 2 every Thursday. And I'm like, all right, 1 to 2 every Thursday. It looks like I know what I'm doing.
Oh yeah. Now, do you go there to do it? Do you do it from home?
No, I do it from my bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's on my laptop. It'll broadcast any audio that's coming from my laptop, and it's live. Every show in there is live, and it's because they have the live chat. So I always have my friends hop in the chat. I'm like, all right, everybody, hop in the chat. Let me know, yada yada. So it's live and engaging. The magic of live radio. So I like that. And it was basically I just knew these people, and it was just another way to do music, another way to do local music.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good way to, meet people too. And it's crazy how much local music I've been listening to since starting the show. I was like, I don't have time to whatever.
Yeah. No, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to like having like people on your show and stuff, is that something you do very often?
No, I haven't had guests, but it's what I want to do eventually.
Gotcha.
I have I don't have the red Scarlet, but that producer thing that everyone has. It has the 2 mic inputs.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a good setup in my room. So I'm 24 episodes now, I'm pretty sure. And it's just getting better every week. I'm learning new tricks and stuff.
Yep.
So I know what the future can look like. I'm just not there yet. But definitely going to have some interviews. And even we have the band we've talked about playing live. I was doing it for a while. I would play a song live at the end of the show. These open mics I would go to, it's like the host, they end the open mic with a song. I was like, oh yeah, I'll kind of treat it like that. So I was doing that for a while. It just wasn't as good quality. So I'll just play some other tracks, whatever. We'll get there.
Fair.
But yeah, doing interviews is something I want to do. And getting live performances and stuff.
Hell
and getting a little more mobile. I am pretty mobile. It's just from my laptop. And I can pretty much go anywhere, but it's still, 24 episodes. It's still kind of new, but it's starting to become fluid, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've gotten,
well, that's almost half a year.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like 1 episode away from half a year.
There we go. And I'm about to make a playlist, of the songs that I play the most or something. So yeah, locals only with Joel Shelley playlist, and you can kind of get a vibe of the channel. It's mostly like indie and stuff. That's kind of what I've been to.
Do you have recurring songs, or is it always different songs?
I'll recur songs just because I like them so much, and I know that maybe someone didn't hear it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I'll replay songs for sure.
And there's, I assume, no way for them to re-listen to past episodes.
So there is, just because I'm playing off Spotify, and other people's music, so I can't just put it on Spotify. But there's I think we upload it to Mixcloud. I'm still waiting to get the player embedded in the app. But there's a way to do it. I'm just not quite there yet.
Okay.
So still pushing the live, and I'm also it's so new. I'm still I don't want anybody to be able to re-listen to what I was saying today. So, but it's not that bad. You should be able to listen to previous episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, here pretty soon.
Well, remind me off camera, but I have a way that you actually can. I have an idea for you, but I won't share it on here because it'll be too technical and nerdy, and it'll derail us from the conversation at hand.
Sounds good. I'm down. Anything that'll help. And shout out to all my listeners. Thanks for listening. Locals Only with Joel Shelley, 1 to 2 every Thursday on the Shady Pines Radio app.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and shadypinesradio.com. So.
Now, do you have an end goal, or are you just kind of enjoying the process as you're doing it now?
I'm just enjoying the process. Doing what you're doing here is something I love to do too. And video, it's just so far out, and all the equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you realize you have friends that are people you could come to that are doing it already.
Oh man, I mean, honestly, there's so many people that know how to do things. I think that's such a crazy part of it. But also, I've learned, excuse me, with some people. I have a handful of friends who are competent cinematic videographers.
Yeah.
And while their input is helpful, some of it wasn't because it was not the right direction of help. The idea, the concept was there, but their suggestion wasn't the right one because we weren't doing the same things. So part of it's interesting when you finally learn the divide between different categories.
Gotcha.
And how even though the people may know what they're talking about for their thing, it might not exactly apply to what you're doing.
I see. I hear you. Yeah, there's different ways to go about it.
Oh God, and there's never one way to do anything. You know what I mean? There's always 100 ways.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And I definitely need to get more engaged with the other DJs. There's 100 DJs now, and kind of figure out more of what they do. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of getting started, figuring it out, trying to make each week like listenable, which it is. It's perfectly fine. It's good, I think.
Now, do you have recurring segments on yours that you like bring up each time? You're like, all right, and this is my doodle of the week.
We're kind of getting there. I call it. I call it the oopsie of the week, and it's just where I can play a song that's not local. I just said it one day. I was like, dude, this song's been stuck in my head, like my one whatever.
Oh, okay.
And if like the artist came into town, like I saw Neil Young, which is awesome, a couple months ago, and I'm like, all right, I got to play a Neil Young song.
Yeah, you're
on
like,
the
he's
show.
local for the moment.
Yeah. So I get to do that, and I do. At first, I was only going to play artists that I'd seen live before, which is really cool, and that's how the first couple of episodes were. But then I wanted to just keep going. Yeah.
Well, there's only so many local artists you can see.
Yeah, it was a little too restricting. But yeah, some recurring stuff. I used to end the show with the song, playing it live. I was just not getting my guitar plugged in or like figuring it out. I wanted a little more reverb on them when I'm singing the vocals, which isn't that hard to do. Sorry guys, I'm trying. I'm trying. There's only so much I can do. But it's taking off the ground. I mean, it's just getting started, I think. And goals, I want to do interviews, live performances. So yeah, it's been very exciting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, there's definitely plenty of room for that in the future.
Yeah. There's so much. There's just so much I can do. Like even just running the Instagram, I posted a lot of show photos, and I tried to make like a little template where I can put in the photo and say the venue.
Yep.
Like there's so much you can do, and whatever, more advertising and stuff. But I think the listeners are going up every week, so I'm doing something right. And I have some stickers. I didn't bring you a sticker. I'm sorry. Which is what this is like the perfect time to do it. And at the do you know Lose Your Mind Fest or anything that happened like 2 weekends ago? It's just like a big show, so many bands. And I was like, this is where I need the stickers to like pass out to everybody. Like I talked to some of the bands. I'll be like, dude, I like played you on my show. Like you guys are awesome. Like here's a sticker, and then maybe so that's what I kind of need. But shout out to Jeff for printing me. He printed me 30 stickers.
Hell yeah.
Like whatever. Couple weeks ago. Of course, they're just all gone.
Oh yeah, I mean, 30 definitely that'll go by so fast.
Yeah, it was kind of just a trial if we liked them, and they're perfect. So I need more. Yeah, I need more.
Yeah, I need to go that route. Everybody keeps telling me I have to have some merch of some sort.
Yeah, you don't have any merch?
No.
Really?
No, I don't. I'm too busy making the show.
No stickers?
No.
What we did with the band, we did beer koozies. Are just pretty easy.
You know what?
Everyone likes a beer koozie, and they're pretty cheap to make.
There was a band that came through a little while back. I can't remember the name at the moment, but I'd seen them over at the Goodfoot, and they were like, hey, this is for you. I was like, huh. So now, yeah, it just lives in my drawer. We're ready to throw one on there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
We did for our first show at Legrasky, we did a limited run of like, I saw Joel Shelley and the Skrimps at the big Legrasky, and it had like the date.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and everyone got to keep those.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Like you could even do one where it's like you can have that run where the shirt stays the same, but the date isn't filled out.
Yeah.
And you can just grab like a grip of them and like hand fill out that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Like do like date location and you fill it out and sign it each time. So it's like an added thing.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, also then you can just keep using the same shirt. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And then just every season do like a new run.
Yeah. Yeah. And shout out to Drew. He does a lot of the merch for us. He's a graphic design guy. He's a drummer. So yeah, he's good about it. He's made a couple posters too.
Oh man, I think a lot is wasted on the lack of like tangible medias. As long as it's not the only thing. Like if you have one song on Spotify, maybe don't focus on stickers and a shirt. You know what I mean? But like if you're trying to grow something and like try and get it out there and like have a foundation, yeah, like it's important.
Yeah.
And like visual branding, I think goes a long way in certain ways. Like making something that's easy to remember, easy to read, like it goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. Little theme. They have the Skrimps stickers they have right now are just pretty iconic. It's just like a nice circle black logo with like a little shrimp in there.
There you go. Like that's easy to remember.
It's perfect. Yeah, and they have a bunch of them, so they're perfect. You want to sticker slap them. You want it to be a sticker that you want to put somewhere to look at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That and like you want it to be like attention grab, like in its own way. Like it doesn't have to be flashy per se, but when people look at it, they should look at it and like it should translate quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
I mean, like shit, I've got like a lightning bolt in mind. You know what I mean? Like that's just
Yeah.
like, that's a shape. It's familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your logo. I like the whole vibe.
Oh, well, I
Jimmy's
mean,
Jambox.
I got it
You
tattooed
got
on
it?
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, that happened. Actually, past guest, shout out Zay. I believe it's at Zay's Monsters Inc. Oh God, Zay, don't kill me for that one. But shout out Zay. He was the one who did it for me. He was a guest a little while back, and so we were going to do it on the episode, but apparently you can't do that.
You were gonna do what?
We're going to have him tattoo me on the episode.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but like licensings and things like that. You know how that goes. So we did the episode and then went to the shop, got it done, and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to get one?
I mean, shoot, I
people
won't
that
stop
like,
anybody.
Shit, I'll get one of those.
I won't stop anybody.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a very accessible symbol to get. It's at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah. I like it. Sadly, I don't know. I don't have any tattoos. I'm tattooless.
Oh yeah,
That's kind of rare nowadays. I don't
you know,
know.
there's definitely some people who like chosen not to for the sake of, and then there's some people that are just like, I just don't know what to get.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Nowadays, like you'd want like it used to be like, oh, because employers and stuff. But
Yeah.
nowadays, like you'd trust a politician more if they had tattoos.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can, like, relate to them.
Yeah.
So there's not really that anymore. I don't know. I'll get some eventually.
I mean, only if you want to.
After we get our first hit, I'll get a tattoo. How about
See,
that?
that's kind of my whole thing. Is like for me, like I like never thought about getting the show tattooed on me.
Yeah.
But the guy was like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, like, if you're willing to do it, like this seems like the obvious answer."
Yeah.
Because like, these are all fun, but like if I'm going to have him do it for the show, like it should be for the show.
Yeah, of course.
And also like, I don't know. I don't think the logo's changing anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's pretty dialed in.
Yeah, it looks good. It's
I do need to
sturdy.
get it animated. That's what I think I'm going to do next.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying like, I think I want to get it animated next. Give it some kind of like when it starts up, when it starts off kind of thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. There's so much to do.
Dude, you're telling me.
I know. And there's so much to do. Like I said, my workstation keeps changing. I don't know if I'm going to get another laptop, so I don't want to load it with a bunch of software.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like some podcast software, but I mean, I'm still not using like background music. Like everyone has a little background music, which I can do. I can play track and turn it down, and talk
Yeah.
over it. But I also want like little sound bites and stuff, like, and I have my little MIDI pad. I have a MIDI controller with a little pad, so I could control stuff like that. There's this comedian, John O. Jokes, and he makes this joke about Portland, and I have a recording of it on my phone, and I want to just be able to like put it in there somewhere. It's like a pretty tight, like 6-second joke or something. So there's so much to do. Yeah, very excited with it. And yeah, shout out to all the Shady Pines people
Hell
getting
yeah.
this thing going. It's for the community,
Hell yeah.
a nonprofit, and shout out to the Shady Pines Festival that they have every year.
Yeah.
It was the
Shoot,
second year.
We'll have to get Shady Pines on here soon.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly. They would be excited to do it for sure. And they just had the second festival. This festival is kind of their bread and butter, what they work towards all year, and just booking all these local bands. It's perfect. It's crazy how much local music stuff I've been doing in the past year and a half compared to when I never would really do it. Like the first time I performed was just like a year and a half ago, and I never thought the radio station would happen. And then now I'm just like doing it all the time, whatever, trying to get bands going and like talking about local music. It's still a lot. I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And thank you. Thanks for reaching out and being
Oh, no.
interested. Yeah, just seeing that
Thanks
I
for
have
being on the show.
Yeah, seeing that I have the show and being interested in it. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely down.
Well, why don't we go ahead and we're going to keep moving on the questions
Yeah,
here.
sounds good.
We're going to jump into the hypotheticals now. We're going to go right into those ones. And this first one, I think it's going to translate real well for this.
Okay.
If you could have any one artist who's currently alive on the show as a guest, who would you have? And usually we limit it to one person.
Yeah.
But for the sake of it being a guest, well, if you want to have a band as well, like if you could have one guest, who would the guest be?
Would I get to interview him, or you would be
Oh, you.
interviewing? I would
You.
get to interview him?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
I'm
yeah.
saying for locals only.
Oh, for locals
Yeah,
only.
like-
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I missed that. I want James Taylor, probably. A big James
Okay.
Taylor fan. Or Neil Young, but Neil Young, he talks a lot already. You kind of get the gist of what he's into.
You already know what it's up. Yeah.
Yeah, James Taylor. I'd love to talk to James Taylor, especially when he was putting out that Sweet Baby James album with Apple Records, which is the Beatles, like at the end of kind of what the Beatles were doing. So he was in there recording this album and like watching the end of the Beatles, but he was still there to see it. And the album is just so good. James Taylor and just everything he's been through. I don't know. For some reason, I'm a big James Taylor fan. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's
nothing wrong with that. Talented artist.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Wow.
Hell yeah.
And I saw him once in high school, so I've seen him perform.
There you go.
Yeah, shout out James Taylor and his all-star band.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, who is a local artist that you would like to have as a guest on the show?
I mean, it has to be Johnny Franco. I talk about him all the time on the show. He hosts an open mic at Laurel Thirst every Sunday, and he does the concerts, the shows in the park. And he's just so interesting. He's just a workhorse. He's always there. He said you can't go around a corner in Portland without seeing him out there busking, performing. So yeah, he's a local guy and very talented. So yeah, I'd love to talk to Johnny Franco.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, if anybody knows him, let's make it happen. Get it in the comments. And then if you could do an episode anywhere in the world, so like you could pick up yourself, go do it anywhere. You wouldn't have to worry about like flights or connections or like internet connection or accessibility or anything like that. Sky's the limits here. Where would you want to like sit down and just do an episode for a day?
That's a lot. I would think like, would you want like an iconic, like city, like music city, like Nashville or something?
It's up to you. It's up to you. Where would you want to do it?
I don't know. There's one lady, she does Reggae Vibrations, her show on Shady Pines Radio, and she did it in Jamaica one time. Yeah, she lives here, but yeah, she did it in Jamaica. I feel like I was listening to, I was like, wow, she really is in Jamaica. I don't know. Everyone goes to the skate thing in Copenhagen, the Copenhagen Open. Pretty much the whole city just turns into like a big skate fest. Like everyone's there for a week. The pros are just hanging out. Like even if they're not competing and whatever, they're just there drinking beer. So just to be a part of that madness, I'll be like, all right, locals only with Joel Shelley. We're here in Copenhagen.
Hell yeah.
At the Copenhagen Pro. So that'd be a lot of fun. A lot of skaters or musicians and stuff or whatever.
I love that.
And they'd come just talk. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Hell yeah. And then if you had to make the show something completely different than it is now, and you can't pick the skate hour either. Can't pick that because we've already mentioned that as a concept. But if you had to make it something completely different, what would you make it?
I don't know.
What's something that nobody would ever expect you to make? Let's have a little more fun with it than that.
I don't know. It'd be fun to maybe kind of do like a stand-up comedy type one.
Okay.
Because just through a lot of the open mics and stuff, you just see a lot of the stand-up comedians. And it's the same thing. You're just out there like putting yourself out there and you're at the same even venues and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So I feel like doing the comedy thing, it wouldn't be that kind of big of a transition. And comedians are just funny people too.
Allegedly.
yeah. And it's funny, and it's got to be a lot harder to be up there and entertain someone without a guitar or without like a backing track. So they definitely have like an interesting story. Yeah, so maybe like a comedy one. And you said you love comedy yourself.
I am a fan.
You can probably imagine what it would look like already, or what you would do.
I may or may not have already had like 3 thoughts in my head about it as soon as you said it. I was like, wait a second, there's an idea there. But again, I'll leave that for off camera.
Yeah, sounds good. Have you had any comedians on? Or?
I had one.
Yeah.
One a while back. Noah Humphreys. He was on the show, and he's a comedian.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good for you remembering your guests. You've had so many guests.
I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
I apologize to the people whose names slipped my mind. But yeah, I mean, I do remember that he is, in fact, a comedian.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Do you know what number I am? Off the top of your head?
No, I don't.
I gotcha. It's 300 something.
Yeah, I think the episode that'll be coming out, because by the time this airs, this episode will be out, so it'll still be there. But I think I'll be putting out episode 330 after you leave.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, That's a lot.
So somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
So my shows, I'm only 24 episodes in.
Yeah, so. But I mean, that's almost half a year in. It's kind of a whole put together process. Like, I mean, that's still a lot. You know what I mean?
And I kind of look back, I'm like, wow, it kind of is a lot. And the prep time, it just gets quicker too. Like I remember the first one, I just like planned like the whole week ahead and everything. And now I just, make the playlists and, the artists that I saw that week. And people are starting to send me stuff too. So thanks for sending me stuff.
Hell yeah.
Through email or just through the Instagram, Locals Only with Joel Shelley Instagram.
There it is.
Definitely. That's where you reached out to me from.
That is.
And it's important. It's important to have those platforms. So thanks for using that. I bet that works way better than just email or any other way, right?
I mean, at the moment, yeah, because it's. For the most part, like it depends on how people communicate. But yes, that has definitely been the big part of it.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
sure.
But let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. And
Sounds
why don't
good.
you tell people what's coming up in the future? So if you have any like fun stuff, say like end of October onwards.
So we should be playing at the Big Legrasky, the Skrimps. We're talking about maybe a little Halloween thing.
Okay.
Listen to the show. I feel like we're just getting more gigs and doing more. Like I never would have thought I would have been on this show. Like a couple weeks ago. So it's just getting bigger and bigger. So excited to see what we can get out of all this. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then for this next one, go and look straight at the camera and just tell people how they can find you, the ats and plugs and things like that.
Okay, so the show is Locals Only with Joel Shelley on Instagram. The email is localsonlyportland@gmail.com. Our band is Joel Shelley and the Skrimps. That's on Instagram. And then my personal Instagram is Summertime Joel. Actually, it's Summertime Joel right now, but it changes every season. I change it to Fall Time Joel, Winter Time Joel. And then my friend actually has the Fall Time Joel right now. Roxy, she took it. So she wants me to buy it back from her or something. I'm just going to add an extra L or an underscore. But yeah, so whatever season it is, and then my name Joel.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that. Yeah. I love a rotating Instagram handle too. That's a really fun concept.
I don't know if I dug myself in a hole, but I don't know.
I mean,
it's fun. People remember it. It's kind of cool. They're like, oh, is it fall time? And I'm like, you still got to enjoy summer. Summer's not over yet.
No. Do you
a couple more days?
Do you do it on the solstice proper?
I do it right.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Someone's like, oh, I only know the seasons changed when you changed it.
Look at you.
Like, thanks for letting me know.
You're doing a service for the people.
I know, it's a
real
service.
man of the crowd. I love that.
Of course.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Shout out to the Shady Pines people. Shout out to the Skrimps, Chris, Drew, and Fletch for having our practice space. Shout out to all the local artists. Check out the Shady Pines Festival every summer. They're doing an open mic. I think it's the 27th at Rose and Thistle. They're bringing the open mic back. Shout out to all the open mics around town. That's where I got my start, or just being confident playing on stage. Shout out to Mark at Eastburn. That's Wednesday nights. Laurel Thirst, Sunday nights with Johnny Franco. Monday nights at the Stardate Tavern. I know where every open mic is. I just did open mics for a whole year, twice a week for a year. And that's about it. Sorry if I forgot everybody. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Now we've got one last question to go.
What do we got?
But before that, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And that being said, the final question. What is your guilty pleasure song?
So I kind of knew this one was coming, and I feel like is Michael Jackson. Is that just, I don't know, Man in the Mirror or something? Do you know what it is? I know what it is. It's the Free Willy song.
Yeah.
Will You Be There? Free Willy, Michael Jackson. I love playing that song. I'll put it on at the bar. Free Willy, Michael Jackson. I got an answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, that's a solid answer. You came in a little hot with you. I was like, here we go. But
yes. Yeah, that song.
Oh, God. That was such an underrated movie.
I know, and it's filmed in Portland, Burnside Skate Park's in the beginning of it. So locals only. We're locals only.
Hey,
I get to play that song on my show now. I'm gonna play it this week.
Oh,
tune in.
Hey.
I will play the Free Willy song because it's local. It was in the movie.
Your episode might come out before Thursday.
Oh yeah,
so.
no big deal. I'll play.
Well, now I'm curious if it does, because that'll be fun.
I'll play. You guys, you just have to tune in anyways to see if I play it or not.
True.
Yeah.
True. Maybe not this week. Maybe next week. Maybe the week after. For those of you watching for the first time, many days after this comes out, maybe he hasn't done it yet.
Oh, you got to tune in and find out.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for
Sounds
joining
good.
us
It's been
today.
a lot of fun. Yeah, I didn't quite know how it was going to go. I think that was good.
Yeah, no,
of
you
course.
crushed it.
Yeah, you're great talking with.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all.
thanks.
We're going to get up on out of here. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Joel.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.